Hey, this is Owen. If you're comfortable, leave your first name and state at the sound of the tiny truck backing up.
Hello, this is Michael calling from Central California, and I know that you mentioned before about how Jehovah's Witnesses or ex-Jehovah's Witnesses will join the military since they weren't allowed to even think about it when they were a part of the cult. So I was wondering, would you ever think about joining the military? Uh, Either way, would you explain why? I'm just curious about it. Have a good one.
Thanks, I appreciate the phone call. I would not. I would not join the military, and let me tell you why. The reason is because this may be some rub off from Jehovah's Witnesses, but I'm very pacifist, as Jehovah's Witnesses are. I don't believe in killing unless it's an absolute necessity, like to defend your life kind of thing. So I would avoid the military at just about any cost. Also, aside from the fact that the military, exists so that they can fight wars, they also use destructive emotional tactics against people. They exploit cognitive distortions intentionally to break you down and build you back up in their image. I mean, that's like a stated goal of the military. Now, I understand that you're signing up for that, and ostensibly you understand what you're signing up for. You're supposed to, anyways. But I don't believe in using destructive influence on people no matter what. So I wouldn't join the military for that reason alone, basically.
Hey, Teo, it's Will. I've called you before. Question for you. I've recently made friends with one of Jehovah's Witnesses. He seems to be being nice.
I noticed that you called him one of Jehovah's Witnesses instead of a Jehovah's Witness. That's really interesting to me because that's something that they push on their people. They want their people to call themselves one of Jehovah's Witnesses rather than just a Jehovah's Witness. It's a way of framing it so that you look at yourself and your role in God's plan in a very specific way. So I find it fascinating that you use that term. We'll keep listening. Oh, and by the way, I do remember you, so I appreciate the phone call. I appreciate the others too. Let's keep listening.
I'm disabled personally, but he seems to be being very nice to me, but then it got to the point to where he's been asking me things like, where does it first say Jehovah in the Bible? And I'm wondering, I'm starting to wonder if he really wants to be my friend or if he's just got an interest in taking advantage of me and joining his religion. If you could give me some insight on, I have him blocked now, but if you think I should keep him blocked and just not talk to him, that would be great. See ya.
Well, it's up to you if you want to block him or not, but I'll tell you what his intentions are. And I know that these are his intentions because these are the intentions of every Jehovah's Witness. This is part of the personality that comes with being in this religion. If you don't adequately display this personality to the leadership in the congregation for a minimum of a year, sometimes a year and a half, even 2 years, they won't let you get baptized. You have to prove to them that you have taken the new personality on, as they call it, and made it a part of who you are. The Jehovah's Witness personality demands that they proselytize and try to bring outsiders in at all costs. If you are friends with an outsider, the only goal that you should have is to bring them into the religion. If you aren't trying to bring them into the religion, or it seems hopeless that they're never going to join or something, you shouldn't be friends with them. That's the perspective that they hold. That's the perspective the Jehovah's Witness personality demands that they hold. Is this person trying to befriend me? Is this genuine? Or is their only end goal to bring me into the religion? The answer is they are only trying to bring you into the religion, but in so doing, I would have to imagine they are hoping to be your friend afterward. It's not like they don't like you necessarily, but you being a Jehovah's Witness, or being interested in it at least, is a prerequisite to your friendship. They cannot be friends with you with that hanging over your head, basically. So it's up to you if you want to unblock them or not. Just understand the friendship comes with a price. You're going to have to be interested to some degree in the religion, or they're not going to be your friend. Try unblocking them and telling them you have no interest in it and you don't want to hear about it anymore, but you still want to hang out with them. You still want to do stuff. You still want them to come over and chat and all that stuff and see what happens from there. I'd be willing to bet they get out of there and never contact you again. This voicemail, I remember it was really, really hard to hear, but it was, despite that fact, it was worth listening to. So just try to chug through, and in the end, maybe I'll put subtitles in for the final one. We'll see.
Hello, Telltale. This is Trevor of Michigan. I've got a question for you. I recently saw your video about how you didn't think Jesus was real and stuff, and I agree with everything you said, but I have one question.
Okay, let me just stop there for a second and kind of give you guys a little bit of background. So what the voicemail caller was referencing is a voicemail that I answered, I think last week or recently anyways, where somebody asked me why I don't believe that Jesus was an actual real person. And in that video, I explained basically all the reasons that I have doubts. I'm not saying he's not a real person. I don't know. But I haven't seen compelling evidence to believe that he was. So that's my position currently. I'm willing to be convinced otherwise. Let's keep listening.
But I have one question. But what about exorcisms? Like, multiple religions have done exorcisms, Christianity, Catholics, and they supposedly drive out spirits or poltergeists or whatever, and people have stated that their houses were quiet after they used, like, book or cross or whatever. So if he wasn't real, how do you explain that stuff? Like, how do you explain how exorcisms have managed to help people? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the phone call. There are a number of different cures for exorcism, for ghosts, I guess. This is a WikiHow article, and it's got 9 steps, so let's see what it says. Number 1, eliminating non-paranormal possibilities. Make sure the haunting has not been caused by infrasound. These low-frequency hums can cause nausea, feelings of fear, and even manifest shadows at the corners of your vision. Okay. Let's see. Eliminate other non-supernatural factors. You know, this is actually a good article. It's telling people to eliminate possible causes that aren't supernatural. I'm with it. Get a psychiatric evaluation. I love this, dude. This is awesome. Holy shit, who the fuck wrote this WikiHow article? This is awesome. Evaluating the potential haunting. Record your experiences. Have someone corroborate your findings. Don't be disappointed if the haunting turns out to be nothing. I'm looking for a list of ways to fix it. Be confident when dealing with your ghost. Like animals, ghosts are supposed to react to and feed off of fear, since there are very few, if any, true cases where someone was hurt by a ghost. Mostly what you'll be dealing with is irritating and possibly unsettling. How do you know? Where did this information come from? Is there some expert around who has personally dealt with ghosts that's giving us this information? Is there a scientific method to find this information out? There are a number of different solutions, such as burning sage in your house or spreading ash on the floor. I mean, there are Muslim methods of exorcising demons, basically. Who's to say those are any more or less valid than the Christian exorcisms? Ultimately, I'm not convinced that ghosts exist either. I am even less convinced that ghosts exist than I am that Jesus existed. It seems completely absurd to me to think that there's actually somebody out there who really believes that the exorcisms that take place in the Catholic Church are actually doing anything at all. Then there's perform an exorcism. Why not burn sage or spread ash around? Why not one of those solutions instead? I mean, they're all equally as helpful. cleanse the house. Once your ghost has been banished, you must cleanse the space so that it doesn't return, and to discourage other spiritual ghostly visitors. Bizarrely, my brother and sister believe in ghosts. Like, they left Jehovah's Witnesses behind. They kind of left religion behind, although I don't think they're atheists. Or maybe they aren't anymore. I don't know. But they believe in ghosts. This blows my mind. I thought this is something that people, like, walked away from when they, you know, turned, like, 19 or 20 years old. Just kind of realized that ghosts aren't real. Like, the monster under the bed isn't real. I'm the caller about the exorcism part. My dad had problems when he was younger. He got bit, scratched, and punched by something he couldn't see. He went through that for quite a few years, but when he fought back, it stopped. Interesting. When I was little, my dad and my mom told me about dealing with demons and stuff like that. They told very convincing stories about how they were harassed by demons. My Mom told me that my dad was involved in black magic and that he could, like, put his arms together like this and create a Jacob's ladder between them of electricity because, you know, Satan was creating this electricity or whatever the fuck. When I grew up, I realized that was complete bullshit. He may have liked to think that he was involved in black magic, but there's really no such thing, ultimately. If you can prove that it's real, the James Randi Foundation will give you $1 million if you can. If you can replicate your results and show them the ability to, you know, harness this or whatever, James Randi Foundation will give you $1 million for it. Anyways, back to what I was saying. My dad told me a story. That was from my mom about the Jacob's Ladder. My dad told me a story about this one time he's laying in bed asleep, right? And he wakes up and he sees this face laughing at him in front of him, just floating face, laughing and laughing, and he couldn't move. He's like pinned to the bed by this demonic force. And he finally struggled as hard as he could and knocked this Zippo lighter down the stairs, these wooden stairs, clatters all the way down. My mom is sitting at the bottom of the stairs and doesn't hear the Zippo lighter fall. And finally, when he managed to knock it over, Satan is who he believes it was. Satan released him from his grip, and he could move again. That's the story I was told when I was little to prove that ghosts or demons or whatever are real. In hindsight, it was very obviously just sleep paralysis. I've had sleep paralysis a billion times. It sucks, but there's nothing demonic or ghostly about it. Stories told by other people aren't really reliable because they had this feeling and this experience in the moment that may not have been a reflection of reality. I understand that they feel that they experienced this, like my brother and my sister. They believe in ghosts because they claim they saw them when they were little. I understand they believe that, but their minds were already primed to believe it in the first place. My mom had convinced them that demons were out to haunt them from the age of 2. So, if you personally have an experience with ghosts or can summon demons or expel them or whatever else, prove it. Prove it to the James Randi Foundation. They'll give you $1 million for it. Anyways, that's a really interesting question, and I appreciate you coming and leaving the super chat and the question. I was very, very interested by it, and I'm sure that my viewers will be too, so thank you very much. Sydney Adnapaz, I grew up very afraid of demons. I still have superstitious instincts, but I can deal with them a lot better now. Same here. My mom actually gave us a little fishing tackle box, you know, that you keep like fishing supplies in. She gave us a tackle box that had a Bible and a flashlight in it, and anytime we were pestered by a demon, quote unquote, we were supposed to open the tackle box and read the Bible and say Jehovah's name over and over and over again. Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. Fucking so sad, man. It's so sad, the shit that people believe, you know, and the shit that people push on their kids. Nervardia, happy Sunday, Telltale. Congratulations on getting engaged. Thank you. Yes, I got engaged and then, I got married and then I got engaged. Let me tell you guys why we did it in that order. We'd already discussed getting married and planned it. I couldn't get a ring because I had nowhere to live. I didn't have an apartment. because I was being chased by Christian ISIS. I was trying to get this ring, but I didn't have a final destination to have them mail it to because I had nowhere to live. That's why I couldn't order the ring until April 16th, my first full day in this apartment. And then I ordered it, and it just came not long ago, but it was after the wedding. So we got married, and then I proposed after that.